Welcome to Let's Go Comic Book Show, episode number 4. My name is Justin.
I'm Matt.
How you guys doing?
I'm doing great.
Matt sounds super sexy today because he's got a cold. But you know what? That's okay. We're here to bring you some fun news. Some stuff popped up, so our original plan of attack today has been adjusted, but that's okay. But first, just a little bit, right?
Yeah, well, we thought we weren't going to have anything to talk about.
That's actually impossible for us not to have anything to talk about.
That's true. There's always something.
But let's first go over the system. If it's something we don't really care about, what's it going to be, Matt?
It's going to be a don't go.
Don't go, because that's trash juice. If we're indifferent, it's a go. Hey, check it out. It's on you. If we love it, it's a let's go. Like, hey, man, it's a part of the show. If we absolutely cannot fathom not being a part of that, buying it, seeing it, what is it, Matt?
That would be a gotta go.
It's a gotta go. Right now, Matt sounds like, yeah, it's a gotta go.
It's the one upside to being sick.
Yeah.
Yes. So one and only time I'll sound like a radio voice.
Welcome to NPR's Comic Talk.
Let's Go Comic Show.
Let's talk about purple capes and how they make us feel.
Speaking of Let's Go Comic Show,
yeah,
how can people connect with us on the interwebs, Justin?
Yeah, that'd be great. If you want to send us a message or a suggestion or something you're looking forward to, you want us to talk about, you can hit us up on all social media at Let's Go Comic Show, or you can go old-fashioned and email us at Let's Go Comic Show on gmail.com. Or if you're just like, hey, I don't really want to talk to the show, I want to talk to a person, you can hit me up on Twitter at J_Rocca.
And
Matt.
I'm not also. I don't know why I started with also. I'm not also under.
He's his own. We're kind of like the firestorm of podcasts. Like, Matt sits in my head.
So we merged together.
We've merged together.
For this show.
But
we're separate people outside of that. And so my Twitter handle is at Matt Ritchie, MatTRichey.
But I kind of do like us being the firestorm of podcasts.
The firestorm
right?
of podcasts. We're one.
We're that. I'm going to put that. I'm going to Photoshop you just kind of floating over my head.
I'm Professor Stein.
Yeah, you're Professor Stein. I feel like you're more cerebral anyways. I'm just kind of like, I'm like the Ronnie Raymond version where I'm just like.
You're the jock.
I'm brash. I'm not really the jock, but I'm a little more like, hey, let's go do something.
Yeah.
So
I like going and doing stuff too.
I am not as smart as the Jason Rush version, so.
Yeah, I don't think either of us are.
But anyways, man, there's some big news that just came out like maybe about 2 hours ago. There's been all this drama going on with the DC, cinematic universe or extended universe, whatever you want to call it. And about a week ago, Matt Reeves was like pretty much confirmed by every place that, hey, he's going to direct Batman. And then the next day. Yeah.
That was when we were recording last week.
Oh, yeah, it was when we were recording. That's right. And then all of a sudden it was like, he's dropped out. Not in talks. And then today it was actually confirmed by Warner Brothers that he is officially in. So, but before we get into that, I want to kind of run down list of books that came out this week just to kind of tease you a little bit. Like, ooh, we're going to talk about that and then some other stuff. But we'll talk about the list of comics. What were you going to go get? Because I haven't even had a chance to go. My life got a little busy this week.
Yeah, I went and got... I feel like the last few weeks, it's just everything's falling on different weeks from each other.
Yeah.
And so 2 comics a week is kind of what it's been for me the last couple times. So Teen Titans 5.
Hey.
Finishing up that opening arc by, I believe, Benjamin Percy is the writer. And then Black Panther 11, that's finishing up the opening arc. Which is funny. It gives you an idea and a little glimpse into how that story has been crafted by Ta-Nehisi Coates, that its 11th issue is wrapping up the first story arc.
Wow.
It's been a dense book.
That is going to be a huge trade. Like, it's going to be like
it's
2
totally
volumes.
worth it. It's totally worth it. I've loved it. But
yeah,
those were my 2.
Wow. Yeah, man, I was like, what am I even going to get? Like, I'm definitely going to get... I was kind of thinking of trying something new this week. I'm going to get Detective 951, obviously. And then just to kind of finish that up, I actually read Detective 50 a little late.
Okay.
But it's like I go back and forth on that book. I like it. I don't like it. I wouldn't say I don't like it. I think I'm not anticipating each issue, but I kind of like the last issue with the whole like Tim Drake reveal at the end where he kind of we talked about that last issue.
Yeah, we talked about episode 3.
Yeah. Justice League of America #1, I'm not going to get. I got the Rebirth issue, and I just didn't care. You know,
don't like Lobo, the main man in there.
Yeah, Lobo being on the Justice League makes no sense to me. I mean, I don't know why he's there, so I will say that. Like, maybe there's a really good reason, but it sounds like It just doesn't fit his personality from what I know. The only thing good about it is it's not the lame New 52 version of Lobo. I'm not a huge Lobo fan, but I appreciate who he is as kind of a foil, like this big biker space guy. I think he's really like a funny kind of a character.
Right.
When you give him his own book, I think he gets old. Like he had his own series for a while in the 90s. He had a mini series that was actually really good. I thought it was good by it's like Alan Grant and Simon Bisley.
Yeah, I feel like he's good. Just kind of pop in and out.
Yeah, in and out. But other than I liked him on the Justice League and Superman cartoons. I thought they did a good use of him. But all right, so anyway, besides that, I'll probably be picking up Scooby-Doo Team Up for my kid because he likes Scooby-Doo Team Up, and I'll be getting Commandy Challenge number 2.
Oh, I did see that in the show.
Yeah, so that's coming.
Thought of you.
That's coming, and then I don't know, like everything else. I kind of like if I have a small week, I like to try something. So we'll see what happens. But as far as Marvel, I don't have anything on the Marvel side yet. I'm trying. Marvel hasn't done anything for me yet.
I feel like March is going to be kind of a big month for them for a lot of new titles to potentially try out.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be something good. So okay, so let's jump into this Matt Reeves news because it definitely it's big news and people have been all over the place. I know a lot of people are like up in arms over this stuff. I actually just don't care anymore, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't care, but I'm just kind of like, well, like
yeah,
figure out what you're going to do
movie.
and show me. And so like the official like kind of release just said, cut that. Or don't cut it, just let it go. Let it be.
Let it ride.
Let it be loose, man. Let it be loose. So the Wrap was reporting War of the Planet of the Apes director Matt Reeves has signed on to direct and produce Warner Brothers' The Batman. The Wrap has learned. Interesting right there is they're actually calling it The Batman, which it hasn't really been official. It's not an official title. I still don't think it's an official title. I think it's just a news, it's just their statement. But the Move Falls reports that the studio's talks with Reeves had broken down last week in the latest sign of trouble for the DC Comics property. Ben Affleck was originally set to star in, co-write, and direct The Batman, but withdrew as director January 30th, citing an inability to give his full focus in all 3 roles. Here's his quote. It says, "I have loved the Batman story since I was a child. He is such an iconic and compelling character and one that resonates with me deeply. I am incredibly honored and excited to be working with Warner Brothers to bring an epic and emotional new take on the Caped Crusader to the big screen," said Reeves in a statement. A bunch of other stuff from bigwigs at Warner Brothers. They are thrilled to have Matt Reeves taking the helm of Batman, the crown jewel of our DC slate.
The crown jewel, huh?
That's what they said in the Lego movie, remember? The intro.
The house that Batman built.
Oh, yeah, the house that Batman built.
The house that Batman built.
Take that, Superman. Matt's deep roots in genre films and his evolution into an emotional world-building director make him the perfect filmmaker to guide the Dark Knight through his next journey. What are your initial thoughts right there?
My initial thoughts is I just feel like I'm curious to see where it lands.
Yeah.
I don't think I have strong feelings about him, other than I really enjoyed Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
But I will say it's interesting because I remember Ben Affleck being like really adamant, like this is going to be a great Batman movie, and said something like there's no amount of money in the world that could get me to direct a bad Batman movie.
Yeah.
It's like, so is there enough money in the world to get Matt Reeves to do it? Or so I'm more curious. I mean, that's whatever. That's neither here nor there. So I think for me, it's sure. Let's see where things kind of land. And I think that even comes with like that. What hasn't really been addressed in any of this news coming out today is that the rumblings of Ben Affleck wanting to pull out altogether.
Yeah.
Which I mean, dude,
well, it's noticeably absent from the statement. Like, there's no like, hey, him and Ben are excited to do this.
No,
not a word put out there. And like after we hit record, it'll probably go, oh yeah, Ben's super stoked. I think that would have been wise on their end to say, hey, Ben's a part of this. But
yeah, there's like
who knows?
No handoff in my mind right now. Which
who knows?
We joked about last week, but I mean, we are one step closer to a David Schwimmer Batman movie. Matt Reeves is in the directing chair, dude. You just call his friend David
Call his
Schwimmer.
good friend David Schwimmer. What was the movie he directed him in?
The pallbearer.
There you go.
Batman the pallbearer.
Batman the pallbearer. It's like when Superman's dead.
Yeah. It's one of those things. I would say overall, just with this news, it's cool to see that someone is signed on to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like directors and writers are like all up in the air for everything DCEU all the time.
Yeah.
And so to see something get nailed down, it's like, cool. Yeah. And it's an established director that I've enjoyed what I've seen of his work so far.
Yeah. And it sounds like he's not a one-off kind of guy. Like, I think if Affleck was to direct, we don't know. I mean, maybe he was like, I have a full story I want to tell. It sounds like...
I think it would have likely been one and done. For him,
one and done.
Sure.
With them saying a world builder, sounds like he may want to tell a complete story. Maybe he'll have 3. Who knows what it's going to be. Preferably, for me, if I lived in a perfect world, I would like for Affleck to continue being Batman. It's a weird situation because if he pulls out right now and you have, Wonder Woman coming out, it doesn't really affect Wonder Woman as much. It may affect like the vibe of the DC universe, like on film, like, well, Affleck pulled out, why? But if Justice League comes out and he pulls out, that's really weird.
Yeah, that
like, how do you even
weird.
promote that? Your biggest star is now, like, he's probably not going to want to promote a film. He's like kind of pulled his support, because that's really what it is. If he backs out, he's pulling his support away from this wagon. And
with his earlier comments being, I'm not going to be a part of something that's not great. And so if he's not a part of it, then the implication is, in his opinion,
but I don't think that means that this movie won't be great, because they did say that
and
the
they're
script
going to
was
rewrite,
rewritten, and he's probably going to have his own take on it anyways. Like, he's probably going to have his own take on this anyways, as a director who, he's known for coming in and doing a quick turnaround. I mean, that's what happened with Dawn, right? Was it Dawn? I get that's a confusing title, by the way. Just usually
all
it's
of them
Dawn,
are confusing,
and then you rise, right? Instead, it's right. But anyways,
too many words in all of those titles.
Too many words. But he came in, handled that, and so I really have only seen Cloverfield and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. So I don't know. I didn't see the pallbearer. Not a huge.
It didn't leave a great impression on my mind, so I can't really recall it.
Yeah, Cloverfield was really cool. So I'm happy to hear this news. Looking forward to hearing some more news. Hoping Affleck stays on. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of different like combinations of ways this could play out. Affleck could bow out, and he gets his own Batman, and it can be kind of like Michael Keaton, the Val Kilmer, George Clooney type of thing. Same Batman, same universe, different actor. Because the one thing that I am thinking is, man, are we going to lose, Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke? Is that even a story beat anymore? They put that out there.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm curious.
Yeah. Do we lose? Oh goodness, what's the guy's name who's playing Commissioner Gordon, who's in Justice League?
A bunch of
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
Do we also lose J.K. Simmons as Gordon? Because he's been cast and he was in Justice League. I mean,
it seems like, even you can see it with the stuff with the Flash, with a bunch of things moving around. It seems like the actors are still in place and they're like, well, I'm on here, so let's do this.
Yeah. So it's interesting to all these different types of things are interesting, but overall, I would say it's good news. It sounds like they have them locked down. Not like they haven't locked down people before. And
then they left.
Yeah, they locked down the Flash director and he left, but hopefully this is a good sign of like, hey, here's a direction we're moving in.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why they haven't released a Justice League trailer. You don't want to release your Justice League trailer. Bad news. Like, it kind of kills the vibe of that. So hopefully in another month or so, we'll be able to see something.
I feel like they have a decent amount of time still.
To what? To release a trailer?
Yeah. They don't
Warner Brothers is usually like a year out, dude.
They're usually like, because they already had that one.
Doesn't count. That would kind of, they're saying it doesn't count. It counts.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like, here's something we're going to show Comic-Con, but I understand what you're saying. But probably they're going to hold it till June for Wonder Woman, maybe. I don't know. June's going to be here before you know it.
Yeah.
We're going to hit.
Or maybe right before that.
March pretty soon. So anyway, moving on from Matt Reeves doing the Batman, hopefully we'll get news on where Affleck is. Right after that was announced, this is funny because I feel like they probably listen to our podcast now, right?
Boom.
Yeah. So Chris McKay, who directed
early on in our journey, we're
early on, right?
We're moving things, dude.
4 episodes
we're
in, we are changing the frickin' world. FYI, frickin' world's being changed.
We are let's going.
Yeah, we are let's going. So, okay, wait, before we move on, what do you give that news of Matt Reeves? What is Matt Reeves news to you?
That's really neutral to me, dude. Like, that's a go.
It's just a go for you, huh?
Yeah, nothing negative against it, but it's whatever. I feel a little burned out on the constant, like, news cycle on superhero movies. Like, it seems like there's so much to take in.
Yeah.
And so that's one where I'm like, okay, like, tell me again in like 6 months when we actually get some details.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll we'll see.
Because that's a quick turnaround if it's still 2018.
Yeah, no,
release,
you're definitely right. So, anyways, so, oh goodness, dude.
You okay?
Yeah. I'm just laughing about just the whole thing. Okay, so yeah, for me, I give it a let's go. It's not a gotta go yet because part of me feels that they're just gonna like pull the news right from underneath me, and I'm gonna be really sad, you know. So
Be like, never mind.
yeah, never mind. Whatever, guys. Bunch of jags. So on to the other news. The other news is it's not an official announcement, but it is saying, hey, there's movement here. So Chris McKay, again, who directed the Lego Batman movie.
Yep, which we loved.
Which we loved a lot.
Listen to our
And we
Giant
talked
Size
about
Annual episode.
the last episode, in between this episode and episode 3. So he's being said to have presented his take on a Nightwing film, and
In the DCEU.
In the DCEU, and so they're in negotiations. So it's really, that's interesting news since we said last week.
Yeah, what we talked about how much we loved the character of Robin
Yeah.
in Lego Batman and Michael Cera's portrayal of that.
Yeah.
And Justin brought up the idea of how awesome it would be if they did a sequel and he was Nightwing and all of a sudden he was just like badass and like
Yeah.
had his new costume and all these different looks and stuff. So to hear that, like I laughed out loud when I first saw the news because it was like right before we recorded.
Yeah, it was. It really was like maybe 15 minutes or so before we tried to get this thing going. So yeah, man. So that does say that Nightwing is not the Robin who died in Dawn of Justice.
Right.
So, which I'm assuming is Jason Todd. Like
That would make the most sense.
yeah, it makes the most sense to me. That's one story beat I hope that we don't not get answered, by the way. Like, you can't just have a dead Robin suit and we're never gonna address that. But
Well, it's hard. They probably don't want to rehash Under the Red Hood, which that was already a DC.
yeah. Do you think they would though?
They need something to give it the time to explain it because that is a convoluted story.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think they're gonna.
So, but the other thing that's funny about this Nightwing news, the other layer to it that's pretty funny is Justin tweeted out the other day and about our Lego Batman Giant Size Annual episode and tagged director Chris McKay.
Oh yeah.
And he liked it and retweeted it about
There he
our
did.
little podcast talking about his movie.
Thanks,
so we're
man.
like, dude, did he listen? Like he listened to it. It was like, oh man, I have this idea for Warner Brothers. Michael Cera.
He wrote it up
live
last
action.
night.
Michael Cera, live action, a badass Nightwing.
Yeah,
we
we
go.
actually are not saying we want Michael Cera to be in this movie.
I kind of do. I feel like that would be awesome.
He did have some really cool moves in Scott Pilgrim, but I don't know if
They're not like Nightwing.
they're
cool
not Nightwing
though.
moves. Yeah, Nightwing
yeah.
does that triple flip that Tim Drake saw and said, "I know you're Robin because you did that triple flip."
So
Better
I
than
think-
John Blake going,
Oh,
"You look sad. I know you're Batman." Take that, Ryan Haas. All right, so so anyways, really cool news. I think that's great. Pretty excited about that. I mean, a lot of people are going to say this. I can already see like fans going, "It's going to be too funny, this, that," and it's not
Sure,
gonna be
hope so.
serious. I mean, I hope Nightwing's a kind of a lighthearted character.
yes.
I'm not saying he's a pie in the face, but you can still do serious but have levity. You know what I'm saying? So, bring it on. I hope that this deal goes through. I hope that soon we hear that it's an official greenlit thing and that he's going to be a part. I mean, he has hinted on Twitter a little bit that, oh yeah, I'd love to be a part of that. You know, let them know, tell them I want to be a part. So,
Right.
I mean, I think Warner Brothers seeing the success of the Lego movie and seeing, you know, his take on it, and you know, he's got a love for it. So I can appreciate that. So, anyways, good news all the way around. I think amongst I'm not saying everything's okay because everything's not okay, but that's good news in light of, you know, storm's coming.
Yeah, I mean that they're still open to the idea. It sounds like of other properties and characters being developed.
Yeah.
I wonder what that means for the stuff that's been on their calendar since 2014,
Yeah.
whatever it
Well,
was.
Yeah, you remember they came with that
Because I
initial
want
list.
like the Green Lantern movie. I want the Flash movie. You know what I mean? And if they're working on the Batman, they're working on the 2 Shazam movies. If they're working on, do you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah, well,
I
okay.
just see like the movies that I'm really excited about getting pushed further and further down the road.
Here's some things that have kind of been put out in the public. So right now we know that, obviously Wonder Woman's coming, Justice League's coming, Aquaman is being filmed right now. Okay, that's for sure. So the Batman is going to be, we have a director now moving forward, right? They've announced Gotham City Sirens.
Is Justice League Part 2 a thing anymore?
I don't think so.
Like it is.
I think they're going to wait until if there is a sequel to Justice League, it's A, going to be based upon the performance of Justice League, and B, probably going to be a few years down the line. To be honest, I mean, who knows? I don't know, but I don't think
initially they talked about filming them back to back, like Infinity War, which I think is probably not the best call.
Yeah, and then I think after BVS they're like, let's just tie this. Let's be done with it. So yeah, we have Gotham City Sirens with Ayers working on, and I feel like that's being fast tracked. The way they made it sound like, hey, the script's already done.
It sounded like, well, you have Margot Robbie behind it, seemingly as a producer of some sort too, that's trying to really put her strength behind that.
Yeah, you got Suicide Squad 2, which is they're rumored to go like really want to get that rolling. Last week, the other news was Mel Gibson is being offered. Or being pursued as a director, but yeah, who knows? That's I wouldn't even say that's like an official thing until they find the director. The whole Shazam Part 1 and Part 2 thing with Black Adam first, then Shazam 2 Part 2, or however they want to do that. They should just call that Power of Shazam Part 1, Power of Shazam Part 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
Adam.
totally sold on having The Rock do his own one. Like at this point, like
Dude,
I don't think anyone's going to care
King
about
too.
Shazam. The character Shazam.
Maybe.
I feel like because
I think the
Black
Rock
Adam's
can.
being built up.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, dang it, man, Shazam can be such a cool character, and I don't know how they're going to get someone that can
I think
go
that,
toe to toe or overshadow.
but I think the Rock has so much charisma. It's kind of like, let me compare the Rock to Robert Downey Jr.
Tom Hardy. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr. makes Tony Stark. Iron Man's not really a popular character. I mean, Black Adam's not really like, I think he's like not a fan favorite. Like he's not like at the Deadpool level of things, but people know him. There's
He's more
probably
on
a
that
sect
side
of
of the
people.
spectrum, though. Like he hasn't been in a ton of stuff, but when he has, it feels like people are excited about it.
Yeah, I think that The Rock could bring a lot of focus to Black Adam and sell that world. And he could be, I mean, he comes from pro wrestling. He was able to spin his like character he was built to hate, and people ended up loving him because he just has that way with people. He's got that woo.
He's got the people's elbow.
He's got oh gosh. I hope he has the people's elbow in this movie. Just kidding. But I think he can actually make people care about Shazam.
Yeah, which I'm open to.
Yeah. I think the idea of Shazam is a fun one, and if you do it right, people can connect to it. So
yeah, no, totally.
So
that's kind of the big two things for the movie news.
Yeah. Well, but I was going to finish up. So following up, so Nightwing possibly, Justice League Dark kind of went the way of the Buffalo. Who knows what's going on with that?
Guillermo del Toro doing that, I think, could have been really interesting.
Yeah, but even after that, the guy who did the Tom Cruise movie, I want to call it Live, Die, Repeat.
The Mummy? Oh.
No.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow was up for that. He even said like he's excited to be a part of it, and it's kind of gone nowhere. And here's the thing: I'm not like a movie news reporter. I'm just kind of remembering what's been said. So there's that.
Now they have the animated feature of it too, which I feel
that's kind of telling though.
They're probably not gonna.
Well, they did the Suicide Squad animated feature, and then the movie came out.
That's true.
Yeah. So and then who knows? One day maybe there's a Man of Steel sequel. I would still like to see that, but
yeah, I'd be for it.
Yeah, I feel like Superman may show up in Shazam. Yeah, no?
Yeah, sure.
Matt's just like, Matt is completely indifferent. Everything's a go.
Well, yeah, none of the movie news, like it's all changing, and it's not a lot of stuff that I feel really tied to strongly. And so I'm like, sure. Like here's the bottom line. I just want good stories like to enjoy. And if it's good, cool. If it's not, that's too bad.
Yeah, I totally understand that, man. I feel like
So
I think I'm just more emotionally invested into it,
yeah,
and I think you're probably a lot more cautious than I am.
I am. I just feel like
If I was dating,
DC doesn't know what
if
to
I was
do
dating
with their
DC,
characters, man.
I would be
That's
like,
what I feel like.
you know, I would say this.
Here's the thing, because we've talked about this before. I
Yeah.
don't know if I've said it on the show before, but I will go on record saying I think DC has better characters, like more iconic. I think they're super interesting. I don't think a hero needs to be like relatable in that, oh, he could be anybody inherently. It doesn't have to be like the everyman, and he's not like this all powerful, all knowing, like godlike character. I get the value in those characters, but I think there's something about that iconic nature of DC's characters where they are like an inspiration. Like I'm not like Superman, but you have like, you have the opportunity to see those characters and get inspired by them, and not necessarily like I could do that, which I think is what Marvel and Image and some of the other companies really focus on a lot more. And I still like those stories too.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think DC has better characters. I think Marvel knows what to do with their characters way better. Way better. Like they've built a universe of movies, successful movies around Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America.
Yeah.
Like that would not like, dude, if you would have told me that years ago, that was just not going to be a thing.
They tried with Hulk. You know?
Yeah, but he's kind of ended up being better as kind of used in
I agree.
here and there in
Yeah.
doses.
I agree. I think
So
you have to
that's
tell the
my
right
feeling,
Hulk story.
and why I think I'm have less of a tendency to get excited about specifically the DCEU, because there hasn't been anything that like knocks my socks off, you know. So
Yeah, here's what I will say about what this is not a well thought out, thought or statement, but
it's okay.
I do feel and here's the thing, I like both. I like the Marvel MCU. I like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I've said before, I feel like, man, their villains suck balls. Not that Marvel's villains suck. I just think the way they do them on film, I couldn't
Because
tell
the heroes
you.
are the focus.
Well, the heroes are the focus.
The
but
villains are just kind of a means by which the heroes to kind of take their own story.
a great villain almost defines a hero. Like if you say
Yeah.
Dark Knight, Joker was great in that movie,
Totally
but
agree.
Batman didn't suffer because of it. Like Batman wasn't. He didn't have. It's not like he didn't have an emotional arc.
Yeah.
I will say like the Michael Keaton Batmans, it was a little more like that. But you're still like, I felt like Batman was portrayed, whatever your thoughts are on Batman Returns or in Dark Knight trilogy, whatever. Batman still had an arc and he was still portrayed a certain way. I feel like the Marvel villains, they're not even memorable. Like who's the name? Malekith from Thor 2?
Yeah.
Who cares? Even Doctor Strange, who cares about that dude? Like he wasn't a compelling villain. And I think your villains
Caecilius.
your villains need to be compelling. And I feel like
I feel like it's two different ways of doing it, though.
maybe I think it's just what do I want? When I order my plate, I want my villains tasty and I want my heroes tasty, and I want to wash it down with a tasty beverage,
Yeah, I mean, but what I see is, and again, like I don't think one way is better than the other necessarily, because obviously I've really enjoyed Marvel Cinematic Universe movies as well. It seems to me most of their villains, probably with the exception of Loki, and probably Thanos coming up in Infinity War, all the other ones have really been a means by which the hero kind of faces themselves and like their own journey, and the bad guys kind of happens to be like a catalyst for that.
Yeah.
Because really they're dealing with like doubt, they're dealing with overcoming hubris, they're dealing with overcoming whatever that's pretty personal. And so I feel like they haven't really shied away. They just kind of owned like, these are going to be personal stories about the heroes, and I mean, and maybe the villains won't be as strong, but that's because the focus isn't on them. And like I said, I don't think that's the only way to do it, but yeah, I can see that. But I still think it's something that's worked too. So I've enjoyed it.
I would say like the villains that Warner Brothers has is the studio execs themselves from interfering. Oh, just kidding. You know what?
But you're not
maybe I think Zack Snyder gets a brunt of the the grief for a lot of this stuff, but he's not a terrible storyteller. I thought Watchmen was done very well. There's a few things I didn't like, but it wasn't like the flow was bad. It was more like, you didn't have to be so brutal with some Rorschach hatching that guy's face
choices
or the awkward sex scene. That was weird. But overall, the story wasn't a bad telling of that story. Actually, the way he told a 12-issue maxi series, it was really well. And same with 300. I don't feel like 300 had any awkward like narrative moments.
No, it wasn't super deep, but it was really beautiful to look at.
Yeah.
It was exciting.
No one went away going,
to do.
He sucks. I think it really came after. Like Sucker Punch was weird. I'll tell you that. Sucker Punch, I've seen it. Looks cool. What the heck's going on?
Well, he's a very visual director.
Yeah.
I think that's really his focus.
Yeah. He probably needs a partner. Do we need to go? Okay. He needs someone to rein him in. I think with Batman,
studio executives.
No, because I feel like the studio executives are possibly the fault of Batman versus Superman. I don't think it's all on Snyder. Overall, when you get to the director cut version or ultimate cut, whatever they want to call it, it's not. It explains itself a little more, and you still haven't seen that, so you need to come over and watch that one. I still think the Doomsday part. Once it gets to Doomsday, I don't like that part. And
see, I just stopped paying attention to Doomsday and just taking the awesomeness of Wonder Woman.
Yeah, no, and that was the thing. I think my issue with Doomsday was almost more of his visual, and then how he came to be. I didn't like the genetic testing that Lex Luthor did. It was a little too much for me. I would have rather he came into the story a different way if you're going to use it. And I didn't think Superman needed to die.
Yeah,
he didn't earn that death yet. Like we needed Man of Steel 2 or 3, then Superman dies. Like there needs to be oh crap, he's dead. Because we don't love Superman yet. We haven't earned his death. But that being said, I don't think Snyder is terrible. I feel bad for the dude. I really hope that when Justice League comes out, I hope that it does well. Almost for the sake of Snyder, for him to be like, hey, look what I did. I don't know how much of it is his anymore, to be honest. With all the changes and stuff that happened. But anyway, I hope the best for the DCEU. I don't think it's gone. I honestly don't even think it's in danger. I just think it's really rocky right now, and they have a huge uphill battle to win people over because audiences are a lot more smart. I mean, audiences can now tell between MCU and Fox Marvel films. You can tell, Doctor Strange, big box office weekend. X-Men Apocalypse, it still made money. I mean, it made $500+ million, but it didn't do Marvel Universe money.
Yeah.
So audiences are becoming more sophisticated, and they know it's a DC film. They may be like, "Oh man, I don't know,"
Yeah.
Like Suicide Squad. I mean, they all went and saw that, but again, another problem is more, I think, a studio issue than director issues. Except big monster in the sky. Anyways, I can extrapolate
that
and
big
keep
monster
going.
in the sky.
Oh man, that was the part I didn't like. I was like, you guys, you could have done something else, but. All right, but even David Ayer said afterwards, maybe a month ago, Joker should have been the main villain of that.
You think?
Yeah, you put all of his stuff in the trailers, and that was it. So
yeah, but I mean, to be fair, if that was the Joker we were going to get, I don't know if I wanted to see much.
I'm hoping the next time the Joker shows up, there's just 5 seconds of him walking out of a tattoo removal shop where he kills everybody. You walk in there and everyone's
maybe
dead.
A respirator of some sort so he can fix that weird breathing.
Hey. Oh, that's funny. But just I don't need some big story. But yeah, the visual is a little off for me. Just with the tattoos, the broken teeth, I like that. That tells a story. Oh, Batman punched him in the teeth.
Oh yeah, no.
I want to see that. I want to see Leto and Affleck go at it. That's it.
Agreed.
All right. You got anything else for me, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, well, do you want to talk about a little bit of comic book news?
Yeah, I do.
So we saw, apparently it was a announcement a while back, maybe a month or so.
What was that?
About a Looney Tunes and DC crossover, which I actually never paid attention to, so that's on me. But now
I don't think it was a while. I think it was I thought it was last week. They said that they were going to do a Hanna-Barbera version of Looney Tunes.
Sorry.
Wasn't it?
That was last week.
Okay.
I pulled up the article that was That was for sure last week. So, but what really piqued our interest, though, when we saw it yesterday, is that Tom King, the current writer of Batman title, is going to be writing a crossover with Batman and Elmer Fudd, which sounds incredible.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, and so I think that's really interesting. And if you're curious what some of these other, there seems like they're pairing up characters. They haven't announced any other creative teams. Haven't even said like what art it's going to be yet or anything. But Jonah Hex and Yosemite Sam paired up. Martian Manhunter and Marvin the Martian.
That's hilarious.
And Lobo and the Roadrunner. Because sure, that was the one that makes the least amount of sense probably. And so yeah, Elmer Fudd and Batman are going hunting.
That sounds really fun to me. I'm down for that, man. I'm actually really excited for Marvin.
That sounds
Marvin the Martian and Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
What if it was Marvin the Martian Manhunter?
Yeah, do it.
Nice.
Yeah,
that sounds fun.
I'm good with that. That's a quick little comic book update. And then the other one that I wanted to bring up is like, man, it took me down memory lane.
What was that?
I'm telling you. News that Rob Liefeld's Youngblood, the title to launch Image Comics 25 years ago, is coming back.
What?
Yeah. Redesigned. Possibly. They're kind of doing some of the roster from the original comics. Which is crazy is I have at least one copy of Youngblood #1.
You do?
I do.
I never got into it, dude. I don't know what it was with me, but I just never.
Well, I've talked about it. I mean, I was a 90s kid through and through. Like, they got me at least for a little bit. That first little bit, I was really interested in all the new stuff going on with Youngblood. And so what's really cool is, so you have what this team originally consisted of. Can we just talk about that for a second? Because it's pretty funny. Youngblood's members included Shaft, which...
The Arrow guy, right?
Yep. That's a problematic name on all sorts of levels. Yeah, but he had an archer's bow that used magnets instead of a string.
Oh, really?
Which is such a 90s. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Badrock is probably one of the most well-known characters. He's a teenager transformed into a giant rock monster.
Okay, here's the one thing I do remember. I do remember his name was Bedrock, and they had to change it because of the Flintstones. There was like a lawsuit.
Did.
So he had to change his name to Badrock.
Because I think it was Bedrock in the first issue, actually.
It was what? Bedrock?
Maybe it was Bedrock.
It was Bedrock. They changed it.
I need to go back and read some of that.
Yeah. I don't know why I know that.
So Vogue, a Russian fashion model with purple and white skin. And you had Chapel, who was a government assassin which had skull like paint.
Chapel was a character.
He was from Spawn.
Okay, that's what I was going to say, because I read Wizard magazine, so I was aware of stuff. I just didn't read all those books. So, Chapel was a thing. Now, from what I remember, there was a lot of continuity issues because I think the story they were telling in Chapel in Spawn kind of disrupted the stuff that was going on in Youngblood, from what I remember. But
yeah. And so what's interesting is I'm not familiar with the writer or the
who's writing
artist. Let me pull it up real quick. Writer Chad Bowers and artist Jim Toe.
Nope.
I really dig the redesigns, and that's actually partially what's got me interested.
I have to go to the show notes here and our link so I can compare, because I'm looking at the cover actually to the original.
It's just so Liefeld, like it's just through and through.
Yeah.
So there's a few things that are interesting about this. I think the fact that it's a 90s thing being redone, I mean, that seems pretty in line with what a lot of stuff is doing right now.
Yeah.
Everything old is new again. But what's really funny is that it actually started with Jim Toe redesigned the characters for fun and just to kind of like do his own thing and posted the images and tagged Liefeld in a tweet. And then he totally reached out and offered him penciling duties on the series. And so it's a lot different look for a lot of these guys. Because if you look at the original 92 cover, it's pretty typical, like extreme 90s stuff with like extra patches and belts and straps and pockets and biceps everywhere. But then this just seems to make a lot more sense.
Who's the girl with the Nightwing mask?
That's Vogue. That's an update of Vogue, which I was like, dude, that
okay.
makes so much more sense.
Then who's the guy with the Booster Gold goggles?
Sentinel.
Is that the guy who had the... Which one was Sentinel? Because I'm looking at
He's not on the original cover. He
Okay.
was in that first issue, but he ended up being the leader of like the Youngblood away team.
Okay.
So obviously this
Wow.
is toned way down. From
You
what it
read
was.
a lot of Youngblood.
Dude, I may have brushed up on it when I saw the news. I was like, oh yeah, like I'm going to pull these out again.
They're going with the old logo, so that's kind of cool. Like,
So with this all new Youngblood, story wise, what's interesting too is it's kind of based around Badrock and getting him back in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently he's not. But the idea for the story is hilarious because it's such a fantastic idea. It's a Uber app basically, but for superheroes. So you choose like who you want to come save you.
that's kind of a good idea.
And so I'm like, that is a brilliant story idea to start something off with. And so apparently, like one of those heroes goes missing, and so it kind of starts pulling people back together. And they even say, I'll have to pull up that. I'm going to pull up the actual official little blurb on this.
Mm-hmm.
So, in this Youngblood #1, an uber popular self-protection app called Help is changing how we stay safe.
Yeah.
Help lets you decide who saves you. But when a high-rated young hero on the app goes missing, his best friend's search for answers gains the attention of some unexpected allies, and together they'll do whatever it takes to find him, even if it means resurrecting the world's most hated super team, Youngblood.
That's funny. So it sounds like it might be kind of a humorous take. You know what I don't like? I don't like the guy's like headpiece with the goggles and the Bluetooth thing in his ear. I think that looks dumb.
Yeah, I just like
yeah.
that it's different.
Yeah.
Because if you look up Sentinel from Youngblood, like
Yeah.
he was whatever you would normally think a giant like Liefeld designed superhero would be from
What's
the
the
90s.
dude? Doesn't look like Chapel's even in this picture here, in the updated version. Who's
No,
this
he's
guy
not.
with the white beard on the original cover?
Oh gosh.
And then there's a guy who looks kind of like Deadpool, but he's like white and blue.
Okay, so the white and blue, he was. Oh gosh. Die Hard, I believe.
Die Hard. Hey, Die Hard, get over here. Sorry, there's somebody like being drilled next door to us.
Yep. Well, there you go.
There you go.
Can't win them all.
Can't win them all.
So yeah, so I'm not familiar with all the characters. I think the designs are really fun though, and that idea for a story has got me interested. And so what's really
I
interesting
definitely
too,
will read whatever you buy. Hey.
is that Youngblood was kind of what started Image too. So
Yeah.
to see what Image is doing now versus where they started over 20 years ago, it's interesting to have that first title come back and maybe be given a second chance because I feel like it turned into a mess real quick.
Yeah, it did. I mean,
Image in
not
general
real quick,
did, but a lot of
it-
stuff split up for a while.
it kind of imploded, but I like that they kind of stuck with it. You know, they kind of they still have the whole. They were kind of the punk rock of comics, but now it's really story based. It's very writer based, and
Yeah, and the design for all the characters, I really think it's at least interesting, and it seems a little more classic and not so contemporary like the stuff in the 90s was. Like you look at the stuff from the 90s and you're like, that doesn't work at
yeah,
all.
yeah, those shoulder blades. And Badrock looks cool. I don't know why he has an M on his outfit. I don't know what it's
man. For mutant.
mutant or
I don't know.
maybe Mondays. He doesn't like Mondays.
So you want to know something that's really interesting, actually?
Yeah.
In going back to digging back into Youngblood a little bit, I researched a little bit last night, and apparently Youngblood was Liefeld's idea for Teen Titans run that he ended up not doing.
Uh-huh.
And so they're all stand-ins for different Teen Titans characters. So like Shaft would
Speedy
be
is
like
Shaft.
Yep.
Then who is Badrock?
I don't remember, man. That's as far as I got.
Like Wildebeest or something?
Here, let me see.
Huh, interesting. Maybe
Shaft was intended to be Speedy.
Hey.
Vogue was a new Harlequin design.
okay, Harlequin was like Joker's daughter on Earth 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Two-Face's daughter? Duella Dent? I don't know.
Combat was supposed to be, and so I think Combat is the guy with the beard.
Oh, okay. That's the dumbest name. What's your name?
All of
He probably spells it with a K. Combat.
if you look at the Wikipedia page and you look at the list of members,
I don't want that in my history, dude.
Oh, dude, it's so funny.
Combat was who? Sorry.
Kundian Warrior circa the Legion of Superheroes.
Oh, okay.
And
One of
then
the comes.
same for Photon, and then Die Hard was supposed to be a Star Labs android.
Oh, wow. So this was a whole new version of the Teen Titans and like a new team.
Yeah, it seemed like it.
Well,
So,
Liefeld
that's
did
kinda
do
interesting.
Hawk and Dove back in the day, a long time
did.
ago. Like even though a New 52 version, but he did a long time before he jumped over to Marvel. He did a lot of DC stuff, and so wow, very interesting.
Yeah, so we'll see where that goes
Yeah.
in those comic book news.
I will tell you that idea doesn't make me like. I don't roll my eyes. I think that's kind of a cool idea.
I
The
think
fact
it's
that
really
it's Youngblood is
interesting.
really. I like that they said the world's most hated team, right?
Yeah, and so it's kind of putting them as the underdogs. So similar, it makes me think less of like a Teen Titans group and more of like a Doom Patrol thing, where it's like, yeah, all these people get together, but no one really wants them to be around.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's pretty much the news,
Cool.
and
All
kind
right.
of like
Yeah.
our entire time. We could
Yeah.
talk about some comic TV related things, but I think
Oh,
we
I
could
really
save
wanted to,
that.
but I want to finish up Gorilla City before we talk about that.
That's fair.
And because I think, and you guys can hear there's drills, and we're not going to edit this out. There's drills going on next door.
So
we're gonna wrap it up here.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the episode out to you guys and be done. But thanks for listening. Thank you again for
Yeah.
any positive comments you can put on iTunes for us. That would be amazing. Give us a
thank you to
5-star.
those who have done it already.
Like
I really appreciate that.
the gentleman Ryan Haas and Tom Mays. Thank you
Thank
guys. You guys are nice guys.
Such
Spread
love.
the word.
Such love early in the journey is really encouraging.
Yeah, so any help could be great. Thank you so much. Share the show. Engage with us. Again, you can join us on social media at Let's Go Cast all over the place. Just look that up.
Yeah,
Or-
at Let's Go Comic Show.
There you go.
specifically
Let's
for
Go
our
Comic Show.
podcast.
Specifically for us. That's right. Thank you for correcting me. Again, we are the firestorm of podcasts.
Yep.
Matt Ritchie is
I'm
in
in
my
your
head.
head.
I'm in your head. All right. So,
All right.
Justin,
I'm Matt.
let's go.
Let's go.
Let's